Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Before I get started, make sure you subscribe and find me on Instagram at Yara. Today we're going to talk about a topic that I think more people should talk about, and that's motherhood and anxiety, or at least my anxiety. Okay, I wanted to talk about anxiety and kind of what I've gone through and what I've experienced, because I think it's actually taken me until now to really fully grasp that I felt anxiety and still feel anxiety as a mom. It kind of started from day one. When I got home from the hospital, I was just really exhausted. I was really emotional, but I would cry about little things, and I knew my hormones were not in the right place either, but I had a few people bring up postpartum depression to me, and that just pissed me off. And I just knew it wasn't depression because I was feeling normal. I wasn't feeling like I didn't love my baby or I didn't love myself. I just felt a lot of anxiety. And I think no one really told me about the anxiety I would feel. I obviously think that postpartum depression is real and we should be talking about it, but I think sometimes people confuse the depression for anxiety. And I think a lot more moms feel anxiety than they do depression. But because of TV and media and the things you read, you only hear about the depression, and that's why I'm making this video. So the first time I really experienced a lot of anxiety was probably 3 or 4 days into being a mom. I was sitting right here on this couch and I was trying to breastfeed, and I looked over at my baby and I was like, if I'm not with him 24/7, then how is he gonna eat? I started getting worried that I wouldn't be able to live my life anymore, and that I was always gonna be attached to him, and that, I don't know, I started feeling all these feels. It was really bad, and I got freaked out by it. I mean, this was just like a constant. The first 6 months of having a baby, these were the things that I was feeling. I would feel anxiety about work, about like trying to keep up with everything. I'd feel anxiety about like, you know, if he's not gonna go to sleep, then I'm not gonna get sleep. My husband's not gonna get sleep. I started getting like irrational fear of something bad happening to my baby. I still feel that sometimes. I don't know, I just felt like there were so many things to be worried about, and I would get this anxiety. One coping mechanism that I started to do was when I would hold the baby at night, his last feeding, or rocking him to sleep or anything like that, or any time that I felt like I had alone time, it was dark, and he was going to sleep anyway, I would lay there and I'd start to meditate. I'm not the kind of person who is like, oh, you need to meditate. You need to have this, you know, this moment every morning where you like sit down and you go, I sometimes feel like it gives me more anxiety, but after I had a baby, I felt like maybe this is something I should do. So when he would be going down to sleep and I'd be rocking him or giving him his last feeding, I'd close my eyes and I'd focus on just one thing. That's all I would do. And I'd let my mind just kind of quiet, because I felt like that's kind of what I needed. I needed that quiet in my head, because my head can go a million miles a minute. It really can. I can think of so many things, and it drives me to this anxiety. So that's what I started doing. And I still do it when I'm trying to put him to sleep, or I get a minute by myself. I'll just close my eyes and I focus on one thing, and that's it. And that's peace and quiet. Another thing that has helped me is talking about it. I think Nikash was like 6 months old when I was really at like the peak of it, when I was feeling like, oh my God, I think my head is going to explode. I feel so much anxiety and stress about being a mom. Sharzad and I were going to an event, and I got into her car. She was picking me up, and I got in her car and I was like, do you ever feel anxiety? And if you know her or watch her, and she has this funny way of expressing things, so she looked over at me and she was like, all the time. Ready to go? Let's go. And so it was just this like funny moment where I realized that even someone like, you know, a really good friend of mine who seems like she's always got it together, to her, you know, motherhood gives her anxiety too. But we weren't really talking about it. We'd see each other all the time and we weren't talking about this. And I think talking about it together has kind of helped both of us, actually. Not necessarily get over the anxiety, but realize that it's normal. Let's talk about being a working mom and anxiety, because I think that has been the biggest point of anxiety, maybe the biggest driving force of anxiety for me. So if you guys don't know, I run my own business. We have our mixed makeup YouTube channel. I have this one. We have FAM that we just started. And my company is also a production company. So we have clients that we're constantly dealing with. All of our clients are really understanding. They were really happy for me for having a baby, but they also need their work done. I think like 2 days after I got home from the hospital, I was launching someone's YouTube channel. You know, we still had video shoots to go to, and some shoots start really early in the morning, and I just couldn't make it. You know, we hadn't sleep trained Nikosh yet. Even going to bed at night, I was just so exhausted. Before I had a baby, I'd be up until like midnight finishing work on my computer, and that wasn't happening anymore. Going out to like, you know, do the constant hustle where you're like networking and you're meeting new potential clients and you're making sure that people don't forget that your company exists. These are things that you have to do. And I knew that it would affect my business a lot, but I guess I didn't really know how much it would affect my business. And now I'm kind of coming into the second year of being a mom, and I'm seeing the effects of that. And I'm seeing that, you know, I have to still go out there. I have to hustle just as hard, if not harder. And I still have to make sure that I'm like showing up for my clients. And that's really hard to balance. And I hate that word, actually. I hate the word balance. I think before I became a mom, I thought I would be able to balance. And I used to hate when people would say like, you can't balance everything, because I felt like I could do that. I'm realizing there's no such thing as balance. There's really just getting by. It's like trying to get by as a mom, and then you end up feeling this guilt because if you spend too much time away from your baby, or you're not focusing because you're in your phone or on your computer, or you're just not there, you start to feel lots of different things. And that was something that I really only just kind of grasped. I'm thinking about our second baby, and now at least I know what to expect, and you know, the things I need to do ahead of time before I have the baby to kind of prep my career and prep my business and make sure like everything is ready to go so I can have that second baby. But you know, ways that I've tried to get around this and things that have helped me are, one, I have finally found help during the day that is very essential. I have a nanny. She's here from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and I'm so lucky to have her. I was trying to look for a nanny that first like 6 months of having a baby, and I just wasn't really clicking with anybody. And I feel like you have to have that right person, whether it's a nanny, a babysitter, a family member, daycare, anyone that you're gonna leave your child to. You need to trust them and feel comfortable, or you're gonna feel more anxiety. One thing for me was trusting my gut and knowing that the first couple of people that I tried to work with for my nanny, they just weren't the right people. And they were good people, they just weren't the right people for me. And you have to trust your gut with that, because now my nanny is solid. She is like the best person in the world to me, besides my husband. But you know, speaking of my husband, I think having that constant communication with him has helped a lot too. We're only starting to learn how to communicate as parents, and that's been really hard. Our relationship keeps going like this now that we have a baby, and it's just because, you know, we're both tired and we're trying to balance. Again, that word balance. We're trying to get by, and it gets really, really hard. And so I think telling my husband the things I need without yelling at him or being upset, that's starting to help a little bit. And I think on his end too, like trying to communicate with me instead of just getting mad or blaming me. These things have started to alleviate the anxiety. So I recommend you like take a step back and think about that. And another way that I've actually started to cope with the anxiety is by surrounding myself with other moms. Before I had a baby, I guess I didn't realize how many friends of mine didn't have kids. You'd think that like at my age, people all around me would have children, but that's not necessarily true. I work with people who are younger, or, you know, a lot of my friends are actually still single and they don't have kids, or some just don't want to have kids. And so finding those like solid mom friends has been really helpful. Joining Facebook groups. We started FAM for all moms. Just seeing like other moms talk about the things that they're going through, good and bad. Even having a place where you can ask questions. You know, I've joined like at least 5 mom groups on Facebook, and it's helpful. I get kind of lost in these groups because I see, you know, the questions that are being asked and the advice that's being given, and sometimes it's really applicable to my life, and it's helpful. I think at the end of the day, the like final things that have really helped me through my anxiety are, one, accepting that I really just don't have control, which is so hard for me to accept because I want to be able to control everything. I mean, come on, I want to control everything, but I can't. And I think when I make peace with that and I know that I don't have control of everything, I start to feel a little bit better. And I also think time and getting used to being a mom and getting used to, you know, working through everything and adjusting your life to being a mom is also very helpful, because I'm learning that now I'm like 15 months out and I'm adjusting and things are getting better. And I obviously love being a mom. And luckily, at the end of the day, you have this beautiful child that you love. There's nothing really better than that. So there you go. You get this anxiety, but you also get the best gift you'll ever have. That's kind of my motherhood anxiety in a nutshell. I could probably talk about this for hours, but I don't know. I just thought I'd share kind of the things I've gone through and felt and what I've done to cope with it. And hopefully, you know, you can feel me on this. And I hope it helps. Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me in the comments if you've experienced any anxiety and what you do to cope with it. Or if you just have any advice in general. Give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.